All right, let's just get right into it. Most of us, we have this idea that getting into heaven is all about what we personally believe in our own hearts. But what if that's not the whole story? What if there's a different standard altogether? Just let that sink in for a second. Not how many times you went to church, not how many good intentions you had, but the actual real-world effect you had on other people. Did you actively pull people toward God, or did your silence just kind of let them drift away? It's a really challenging idea, and it comes from a piece of scripture a lot of us might have just glossed over.
Now, the way this is worded is so important. It draws a direct line, a cause and effect, between leading other people to do what's right and getting this eternal, glorious reward. It's not presented like some kind of bonus, for extra credit. It's treated like a core principle of what it means to live a life of faith.
And this all points to what the source material is calling a higher standard. It's about shifting our whole perspective away from a faith that's just internal and personal to one that has a real, tangible impact on the world around us. So this is absolutely crucial. The point being made here is that this isn't just a nice idea or some pretty poetry. The argument is that this is a fundamental qualification. It's literally describing the kind of person who gets it, who truly reflects the heart of God, someone whose life is an actual force for good in other people's lives. And you can really see the huge disconnect right here. On one side, you've got the questions we tend to focus on in our modern faith. They're all about us. Am I saved? Am I blessed? Am I good with God? And look, they're not bad questions, but the argument is they might be the wrong main questions. Because on the other side, you have what the source calls heaven's question, and it's completely focused outward. Who did you pull toward righteousness? Big difference. This brings us to a really critical part of this whole discussion, the danger of what's being called a passive faith. It's basically a look at how the mission might have gotten, well, a little watered down over the years. I mean, we see this everywhere, right? The idea of being a good Christian has been boiled down to this really simple, non-confrontational checklist. Be nice, mind your own business, definitely don't judge anyone, and just love people. Whatever that means. But is that really what the original mission was all about? And here's the course correction. Real love, divine love, according to this view, it isn't passive at all. It's active. It has a mission. And its goal isn't to make people feel comfortable or just affirm them right where they are. The goal is to actually move people toward being right with God. And this is kind of a gut punch question, isn't it? It just cuts right through all the noise. I mean, you can be the kindest person, you can be generous, a pillar of your community. But if at the end of your life, no one is closer to God because you were in their life, then what was the ultimate result of your faith? It's a question that really forces you to take a hard look in the mirror. So this obviously leads us to a big question. If we're supposed to be doing all this, we have to redefine the one word that's at the center of it all: love. We have to understand what love really means in this context. So the source material gives us this really powerful formula. God's love isn't just one thing. It's a combination. It's kindness, for sure, but it's also justice. And those two things have to work together for one single purpose, to create righteousness. It's not one or the other. It has to be both. And this is what that actually looks like in real life. Think about it. Kindness that doesn't actually help someone change their ways. It's incomplete. It's a Band-Aid. Then you have correction that's just about pointing out what's wrong without any intention of helping to fix it. That's not divine. And maybe the most powerful one, staying silent when someone is heading for a cliff, that is not love. Here's the difference in plain English. What the world calls love often sounds like, hey, you do you, I support you no matter what. But God's love from this perspective sounds very different. It sounds more like, listen, I care about you and your eternity way too much to just stand here and leave you where you are. So, what do we do with all this? Well, it leads us to a personal call to action. It's a new mission. Or maybe it's about rediscovering the original one. It's about taking this whole idea and applying it directly to our own lives, right now. So let's ask ourselves this and be honest. Can you name a single person who is closer to God because you exist? Someone who is demonstrably, measurably closer because of your influence, your words, or your actions. This one's even harder. Who have you had the courage to speak the truth to? Not out of judgment, not to feel superior, but out of genuine love and a desire to see them get back on the right path. And let's be real, this is usually why we don't do those things. Have we chosen a version of faith that's just comfortable? A faith that lets us avoid the difficult conversations, avoid speaking hard truths, and ultimately avoid the responsibility that comes with having influence? Here's the bottom line. There is no neutral ground here. In a world that is already drifting away from God, just standing still is the same thing as letting go. If you are not an active force pulling people towards what's right, then by default, you are a passive force allowing them to drift. This is the fundamental shift in thinking that's required. It's a call to move our entire focus from our own spiritual status to our spiritual mission. So, step 1, we have to stop obsessing over the question, am I saved? And step 2, we have to start living out the answer to the question, who am I saving? And we're going to end with this final, really powerful thought. The ultimate measure of a life of faith isn't about the blessings you got or the comfort you felt. It's measured by your output. It's all about how many people you actively, intentionally, and lovingly helped become right with God. That right there is the mandate of righteous influence.